Hi guys, I'm Natalie from Immaculate Confections, and today I'm going to show you how to make a lovely floral posy inspired by the movie The Lion King. Lots of lovely colours, lots of grasses, and it features a really cool technique for making an easy paper fan as well. You'll find all the tools and equipment I've used over on our website, immaculateconfections.co.uk, and you can come and join us over on Facebook in our group, Natalie's Cake Studio. You can share your work, ask questions, or get any help that you might need with your sugar craft. Don't forget to give the channel a like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the video. This evening we are doing a Disney. We're doing The Lion King, so we're going to do some paper fans again, and I got the colours back to front to make it sunset, and I was going to come in and do them and then just apparently completely forgot. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try and do like a fan of fans at the back, and then I'll show you how to make some tropical-y leaves, which are really easy, and grass, which will be fun to dust. And then I made up some floral bits. I don't know what we're going to call them, we can decide later. So I cut him there. I'm just going to use this one as a template to cut a couple more. And actually, what I might do is draw them and then ask Chris to cut them out for me. So to paint these, we're just going to use food colours. So I've got our yellow, orange and red there, and Rejuvenator Spirit. And then you just want a couple of brushes. So I'm going to start with the yellow. If you were to do this with water, the water would sink into the paper and it would crinkle. Whereas doing it with the Rejuvenator, it dries so quickly it doesn't. Right, I've just got a little brush there just to mix it up with. And you can see it's incredibly runny, so it's kind of like doing watercolours. I would do this obviously on something sensible. This table, fortunately, is impervious to pretty much everything, so I'm just going to go for it. And we want our yellowy bits on the sides, like so. So I'm now going to mix up some orange. I think we had a couple of people before that did do it with wafer paper, which it turns out, I was not previously aware, is different than rice paper. It's made finer, I think it is. So it bends better as opposed to just cracking. Because if you were to do it if you were to try and do this with rice paper, like the kind of rice paper that you would put under like macaroons or something like that, then it would crack, I think, when you do that. But ask in the group, because I know when we did this before, a couple of people did it. I just can't remember whether it worked or not. Right, and then last but not least, a little bit of red. So you can see that we have got a number of sunsetty bits of paper, and actually what I might do is mix up just a little bit more yellow just there, because I feel like there you go. And do you see, putting the yellow over the orange, the red there is giving us a slightly more oranginess to it. So I'm just folding this up now. Yeah, there you go, that worked to be its own individual sunset or a flame. So we will fold them in half. Like so. And then you could use a stapler, you could use some glue. I have a little bit of double-sided tape. So I've just popped a little bit on there, and then I'm just going to fold it together. And that there is our fan. And then what I like to do actually is to just chop that top bit off so that we've got a nice neat point on it. So this is some 24 gauge wire that I'm going to put this underneath so that we can see it. And what I'm going to do is that little gap where we folded it in half is thread the wire through there, bend it. Can you see that I've got it snaking back on itself just there, and then twist that together really, really, really tight so that it will hold our fan nicely. And that now is a wired thing that we can use in our display. So we've done the bit that I totally should have done earlier, because my plan is that if we arrange these together like so, and I can take these together later on, they can in fact totally could, you're right, but they can form the sort of backing of our thing, and it does look a lot like a maple leaf. You're absolutely right there. We will make some of these. I've coloured some flower paste just with green, just nice bright green there. So, green flower paste rolled out nice and thin. Our first step for these, we need to just cut a leaf shape. So you can see it is a relatively bulbous leaf shape. It's just a leaf shape, you know. So, cutting wheel, curvy line up one side, followed by a matching curvy line up the other side. And that is it. Oh, we can do another one just here. So curvy line and another curvy line. And if you don't like doing that, get a piece of paper and a pencil and just sit and draw leaf shapes, because yeah, that's it. And it will be one of the most useful things that you can teach yourself to do, because, well, lots of leaves are leaf shaped. What can I say? Knife, and we are just going to come and snip out some little triangles. And I tend to do them so they're off centre to each other, 3 or 4 up the side of the leaf. And if they don't want to come out, sometimes you need to sort of spear them. Yeah.
Help them on their way.
Help them on their way. I just want to come round. You can see I'm being fairly rough. It's just thinning and shaping those edges ever so slightly. There's not much to it, and to be honest, if you were in a hurry and had to skip this step, that would be totally okay too. Dresden tool. So we're going to use the spine here rather than the point, so you want to hold it at this kind of angle, not on the tip like a pencil. Line it in the middle and just score a line all the way down the middle of the leaf. Take a piece of wire, 24, 26 gauge. What we're going to do is take a little bit of paste, squidge it on and roll it down the wire so that this is sort of coated in a thin sausage of flower paste, and then we can stick that on the back. So I will dip it in my glue, dab dab on the back of my hand just to, so it's not swimming in the glue. Tiny little sausage, pop that on there, and then you're just going to twist and twiddle it down the wire. So this hand's holding it. It is holding it loose enough that I can spin it, but firm enough that it won't move up and down, so that I can spin and pull down on the paste there, and get it to thin itself out into a really nice sausage. And what you can do is do it on your petal pad, like so. And that will work just as well, and you'll be able to make lovely slim twiddles. And then you can just pop your leaves on like that, and the bend in the paper means that they're going to dry. If I hold that way, can you see it with that lovely slightly curved towards you shape? Do the little flowery doodads now. Like I said, I don't know what they are. I just wanted something sort of bulbous and tropically looking, and this is the result. So we'll use again some 26 or 24 gauge wire, and I will do this with a candle if I can locate a lighter. And these are just pale pink, which I've just made with a tiny little bit of magenta. We want something in the range of a garden pea to a chickpea of size. And you want well kneaded paste, and then you're going to roll it really nicely on your palm there to get a nice smooth ball. Then a little bit of Trex or petal base will do the job. You're going to take the ball and just roll on one side of it like that to make a little point. Hold the wire in the candle flame, and for those, I know we have a couple of new people with us, so what this does is it heats up the wire so that when you put it into the sugar bud, you will get a glorious puff of smoke just like that, which means that it's melted the sugar and it is going to stick for you straight away. So it's just quicker than doing glue and a hook and having to wait for it overnight and stuff. So I can pinch my base down a little bit there, twist it off nice and neat, and then we're going to pop 4 little lines in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. So that is our sort of bulbous bud, and then we want a slightly bigger ball. So this is what are we? We're about the size of a 5p piece, give or take, so a little bit bigger. What I'm going to do is sort of put my finger in the middle of it and roll, a bit like a skittle shape just there. I can do a little bit more with my little finger. Do the same thing, heat the wire, insert it in there. Again, I can pinch the base shut, poke a hole in the top, like so. And then you want some teeny tiny scissors, like my little bird scissors. And we're going to snip in half like that, and then do your sort of the other half, so you've got that split into 4. Is that showing up all right there?
Yeah.
Easy. And then each of those cut in half again. Like so. And then you can sort of tease them out slightly and squash them a little bit with your fingers. And I think earlier on I took my Dresden and just made a little line in the centre of each petal, but I mean, go for what you want, because these are made up to just look sort of tropical, really. There we go. And then I'm just going to take my Dresden tool, and at the bottom here just do those 4 lines again. And these are our seed poddy flowery things, which we're going to dust up really bright colours, and I think they'll make a bit more sense when they're like that. But I mean, you know, it's sort of, I like making things up. What can we say?
You do.
Which means our last bits then is some grass. Some grass and some twisty bits. So these, it's just made with tape. I love making things with tape because it's quick. I'll do the twists first. And all that is, we're just going to take, about that, what's that, 4 or 5 inches of tape. And then just twist it up on itself Now, because I have tracks on my fingers, this is going to be really difficult. There we go. So just twist it up nice and tight. And there's no wire in here or anything, it's just on its own. And then we'll fold it in half-ish. It's quite nice. They're different lengths at the end. And then you just need to wrap it around something thin. So I could use my veining stick. And it will, more or less, hold its shape, like so. And then we'll take a little bit of wire, 24 gauge again, and I'm just going to tape the twist of tape onto the wire. There we go. So I've done some green ones of those, and then I've also done some with my plum tape, because I thought just for different colours. And then these for the grassy bits. Piece of wire again, and a little bit of tape. Again, 3-4 inches, something like that. Now often, if you give it a good feel, tape has a stickier side and a not so sticky side. You want to fold sticky sides together so that it sticks together. So we'll pop that there, about an inch into the wire is about an inch into the tape. Fold it over and press it down nicely. And then you're going to hold where the wire is and the tape, and then twist the other end. And just twist and twist and twist so that it is well caught onto the wire like that. And then with a pair of scissors. I've got a few bits I need to cut here. You can cut it into 3. So that means we're cutting out 2 bits there, like so. Or you could cut it into 2, so I'll curve the outside edges and then cut a little wedge from the middle so that I have sort of 2 sprongs of grass. What are they? Blades of grass. There you go. There needs to be some reference, of course, to the lion. So I'm going to start off with just a teeny tiny little bit of brown into the most dry lump of flower paste the world has ever seen, but never mind. And then we're going to add either some yellow or some orange to it to give us that sort of sandy colour. Well, I can try yellow first, we can always swap to a bit of orange afterwards. So what have I got? I'm going to do 2 little balls about the size of a garden pea each. And then I'm going to take the spoon end of my Dresden tool and press it in there and then pinch the bottom shut. Yeah, I can live with that. Right, so let's do that. Let's see if we can replicate that. We want twins, not sisters. So press that in there and then pinch the bottom closed. So I'm going to heat it up and I'm going to pop it into that point like so. Yeah, that will do. I've kind of stuck it a bit into the gap, which is annoying and exactly what I didn't want to happen, but it's done now. So what did you just say? We shall overcome...
Adapt and overcome.
That's it. And not whinge about imperfections.
On camera.
On camera. Fattish sausage. And then I'm going to coat my wire in some glue.
Is this for the tail?
This is for the tail. And insert that into the aforementioned sausage, like so. You can see I've got the wire sticking out there because I'm going to do a ball roll on the one side to make a cone, insert that in there, because then this, if I now, so Dresden tool, cutting wheel, whatever you fancy, my cutting wheel was nearer, I can pop some lines on there, and that's going to be the tufty bit at the end of his tail, I think. And then very carefully we can give that a little bend, and I'm just going to put that aside and let that dry. Bright red, violet pink, possibly some orange, possibly some burgundy. We'll see what happens. I think if I start off with some violet pink on the top, coming down, and then we'll maybe do some bright red on the bottom, going up, and then maybe a little bit of burgundy underneath, because that in front of all the greens should stand out quite nicely. So maybe what we'll do here, let's see, is put some orange on the top of the weird little flower thingies. So there's our bright red going on. And then again we'll do a little bit of violet pink underneath. And actually I would hazard that I could in fact do just a little bit more orange. Yeah, I mean, you know, they're made up. They're doing the job. I quite like these now they're all together, look. They do. They look like something that should be in a cocktail, I think. I'm going to set up another bit of paper with all my greens. So the first thing for us to dust here will be these. Now, I think I use some of the leaf green there and just bring that in from the outside towards the centre. That will tone them down just a little bit, which I've nothing against them being that super bright green. However, because I've made all my grass from Nile green tape, the two don't really match. So yeah, just knocking it back a little bit. And then I might take just a little bit of the dark green and I'm just going to run that around the edges, and can you see it's flicking in from the outside, and it's those little miniature but very, very repetitive brush strokes that are going to blend the colour, thus taking us from that to that. Right, I am just very roughly, very loosely, oh, I don't know if you can see actually, I've laid them all out and I put my ruler on top and I'm using that to just hold them down so that I can...
No weird measurements there.
No, it's just holding on to them for me, just so that I can kind of attack with colour. See, it's not, with these, it's not a massive difference, so these ones have had some dust, these ones haven't, but it's just giving them a little bit of something extra. I think it would be cool on our grasses to have some bits that are some orangey reddy tones. So I'm just grabbing whatever dust is sort of lurking up here. Right, my purple twisties, I think I'm just going to whack some violet pink onto, just to make them a little bit pinker, basically, a bit brighter, a bit pinker. A little bit of brown, and what I'm going to do is take the tiniest touch of brown. I need to choose, so I'll make, that's the right one, this is the left one, and I just want to pop just a little bit of darker brown on the outside of the ear, I think. Yeah, that should do. Just so that it's not plain. And then here we will dust up this bit. Like that. And maybe pop just a smidge. Yeah, I reckon that will do. The first thing that I will do is pop these together in a fan. So I'm just going to hold those two alongside each other, attach the tape, and then I will add in the other ones. I will just bring the tape down just so that we're nice and solid. Let's attach some of these together, I think. Let's do that first. Because then that can go about here. Tape lower down, just twigged. Because I think that it's like a mother-in-law's tongue thing, sort of long and spindly-ish, as opposed to branchy. Because of what colour they are, if I add in the red, so that's the plum tape twisty wisty bits, that kind of matches and it looks like it's part of the same thing. That can sit there and that looks kind of cool, doesn't it? I take some of the longer bits maybe, and in fact some of my twisty wisties. And the lovely thing about the grass bits, it's a bit like curling ribbon. If you run your hand down it like that, it will curl itself. So like a balloon ribbon. I wonder if we can, in fact, yeah, look, we can shove a few bits in there, have a couple of tall bits to sort of break up that side of it with the thing. I think I made too many leaves, you know. And then that was sort of there-ish. Does it look like a tail?
Yeah, it does.
There is the tail, and then will that work, do you think? What we need to do here is bend the wire back there and back here, so then that bit here sits flush with it, but the grass is sitting forwards with the whole thing, because then that way that should let us arrange it quite nicely around the ears there, I think. Bring that tape down slightly. So there we go.
Lovely.
Yeah, Lion King one. Phew, complete with copious amounts of grass, easy tropical leaves, paper fans, which actually look pretty cool as the background of that, I think. I hope you enjoyed that video. Do join us on Facebook in our group Natalie's Cake Studio, link is in the description, where you can ask any questions, get any help you need, and of course share your work, which I love to see. You'll find all your tools and equipment on our website, immaculateconfections.co.uk, and of course do like and subscribe to the channel, we'll be very grateful if you do. See you again soon.